Who uses his authority for edification, building up? We're in a series where we've been looking at the characteristics of God-given authority. And this point is very important for us. Who uses his authority for edification? I've had the privilege over the past years to go to various countries close to our country and others abroad, and it's been a very interesting experience. I've experienced good things, but also every now and then I've found a church leader who is sitting on his throne, and it really didn't please me. He gave instructions, he allowed himself to be served from people who would come and give him his food, drive him around. And I asked the question, if Jesus was leading this church, how would he do this? Which attitude would he have if he were here? And I suspect that it would look very different. In Matthew 20, verse 25, we see, "But Jesus called them to him and said, 'You know that in this world kings are tyrants, and rulers often treat people unjustly. With you it is to be different. Whoever wants to lead, you shall serve. And whoever wants to be first among you shall become your slave. The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many.'" That is the attitude of Jesus. He has come to be a servant. He came to stand at the back of the queue. He came to build people up and encourage. Paul had the same attitude. His authority he used for building up. We see in 2 Corinthians 10:8, we read, "Perhaps you have the impression that I'm bragging too much about the authority that the Lord has given us. But this very authority is to advance you, not to harm you." And that means for you and for me that this God-given authority should be used to help people, to build them up. It's not there for me. This authority is not to have others serve me, but it's to use that authority to help others, to serve others, that they can grow and be encouraged, and that they are not hurt by this. And then we read in another chapter what Paul did and how he used his authority. In 1 Thessalonians 2, verse 7, it says, "As apostles of Christ, we would have had every right to demand something of you." That means that we could have allowed ourselves to be served. That means we would have had the right. But we were as gentle with you as a mother who nurtures and cares for her children. I have a wife and 2 daughters, and I was very close when these women all had children. And I was just amazed as a man to see how they would treat their little babies. They were always there. For every need, they were there to help their babies and their children. They would hold them. Sometimes they would just leave everything. At night time, they would wake up and go and help the children because of their love for these little ones. And Paul says, in this way, that's how I used my authority for you, in a gentle way. And that's what I think is so amazing. And then verse 11 in this chapter, we see, he says, "You know that we have been to you as a father to his children. We have encouraged and comforted each one of you, exhorting you to live in such a way." So it's that fatherly attributes coming through there. Exhorting you to live in such a way that God may be pleased with you. And that's exactly what a father does. What he was saying is, I have an authority, and you trust me, and this authority I use to bless you, to build you up. I've encouraged you. I've strengthened you. I've comforted you, it even says. As it were, to put my arms around you when things weren't going right, but I've also had to correct you. And there he says to you and to me in Philippians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4, the attitude of Paul is shown again. Do nothing out of selfishness or petty ambition, but in humility respect each other more than yourselves. Let not each look to his own, but let each look to that of the other. That means, please stand at the back of the queue, the way Jesus would have done. That is the attitude of Paul here. And this attitude is not just for leaders. It's not just for Paul or church leaders. This is actually, I hope, an attitude of the whole church, the whole community. And this should influence all of us. It's not true that it's not just for the leaders, but it's also for the whole church. And in a leadership structure or leadership team, it's not a very much use. It's a very little value if there isn't mutual appreciation and respect. We need to have that mutual honor, mutual respect. We don't lord it over the people, but we submit to one another and serve each other in love. That's what it means to have authority that builds up and encourages. So my question to you, are you inclined to brag about your position and authority? It's a personal question. Only you can answer this in your heart. Do you always get into the line to serve and not to be served? Or do you have the attitude of pushing to the front to be served? Only you can answer this. Or maybe you should go to someone close to you and ask them, do you see anything in my life that shows that it should be different in my life? And then, of course, at the end, which area in your life do you need change? Ask God. He will help you. God-given authority is there for building up and encouraging. If it's used for anything else, then I have to ask myself, is this person really understanding the heart of Jesus? Because when you're close to him, he influences you with humility and with a servant-hearted attitude to build others and to encourage them in comfort.